What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome. This is All Access Broadcasting, and you are tuned in to The Sidewalk Ends. And this is where the sidewalk ends. I am your host, Gabriel Cannon, man. Thank you guys for joining me. This is episode 5. I don't know if y'all was tuning in last week. I was saying 3. It was actually episode 4. Yeah, I'm going to tell y'all everything. We taking this journey together. Cool. Hope y'all all did y'all weekly reading. Book of the week. We'll get into that later. But yeah, we're here episode 5. And like I was saying last week, we're going to get into Hollywood 101, man. Hollywood 101, and kind of a lot of the things I had to learn coming up. Like I said, if you remember from the other episodes, a little bit of my background, I was signed to Def Jam Records, a major label out here in Los Angeles, just in the game, period. Also did a lot of film and television work. I was on everybody set. If I was, started off doing extra work, and if it wasn't a PA, I was, and just because of, the connections or whatever, just, every aspect, if it was behind the scenes, if even the cameraman to, lead actor, wore many hats, and I was able to see, I had this idea that, once you get to Hollywood and once you make it, you're going to be able to buy your mama a house, and you're going to be able to buy your uncle a car, and you know what I mean? And everything would be beautiful, and you made it out the hood. And, that was absolute fairy tale, for lack of a better term. That was a complete fairy tale. I know one of the phrases that we grew up on was more money, more problems. We hear that, and you think, like, what does that mean? What you mean you get more money, more problems? And when you get more money, you should be able to solve all these problems. And then you get money and you kind of grow up and mature and realize, man, more money, that means more bills. You take somebody from living this certain lifestyle, and they come accustomed to this lifestyle, and their whole family know them for this thing, like, that's why you have kind of, not even in the entertainment, just in success, period. You'll see these people who were once millionaires and, these success giants, you kind of see, you really don't see these stories. Let me say, you really don't see stories of people in Hollywood or the entertainment industry. You really don't see their end role being, wow, and he left with peaceful, with all his family surrounding his bed, and they all prayed with him, or, and he went out. You don't ever really hear the outcome being that, whether it's the successful business guru or you don't really hear these stories, so and so was laid to rest, and it was it's always something tragic or crazy or mysterious that kind of happens to all these people who accumulate a certain amount of success, man, whether it's tragedy or whether it's, unexplainable. It's always, it's never the idea that you think when, you work your whole life, you put your whole craft and dedication and hard work. It's interesting, and, no disrespect to anybody, but just the perspective that, I was looking on, following the recent death of, Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. But, kind of just seeing, hearing people speak on his character and who he was, and, how he was so dedicated to the game and so serious, about this game and his goals. And, his goals wasn't being the MVP. It was winning the championship. He didn't want to be praised for the typical thing you would praise a normal person for. He wanted, the whole thing. He wanted the end goal. He wanted the real success. And, it kind of made me look at his life like, yo, man, it's crazy because, just me putting myself in his shoes, like, yo, what if that person was thinking like, yo, I'm going to do all of this. I'm going to work so hard. I'm going to put all of this energy into me and my goals and my dreams. And then on the second half of life, I'm going to give it to my children. I'm going to give it to my family. I'm going to give it to the second half of life. And what more of a tragedy would that have been if, that was his idea that, okay, I'm going to invest everything in them, and on the second half, I'll be able to come back and apologize to people or come back and be a better person. Like, And that was so short-lived. Like, you know what I mean? He got the success. He got all of it. But, you know, that second half to where it was like, you know, I was only being that way because I had to win them championships. Like, you know, it wasn't, you know, he didn't get to go back and explain. You know, he didn't get to go back and mend maybe that relationship with the coach or whoever it might have been, if that was the idea. Like, yo, I'm going to come back and make these things right. In our pursuit of success, in our pursuit of, you know, and that's kind of what I was saying. Like, you know, we don't really see that. These people in these positions, we don't see, you know, they kind of go out in crazy, mysterious, you know, whoever it is, whatever field they're in. We don't, like I said, we don't hear about these billionaires who peacefully, you know, those stories are crazy. So, like I said, Hollywood, the evils, I think, I have to kind of take you guys back wherever your spiritual level is. I would say let's approach these things like, because there's a lot of information that we took in as children, you know, whether there was fables, whether there was fairy tales, whether there was biblical stories, that, you know, there's a lot of information we took in as children and we took it for face value. There's a lot of things that, you know, our grandmother might have told us, and okay, she told you, you know, what I'm getting at is, a lot of us was told about the Bible or Jesus at a young age, at our origins, at the beginning of life, you know, and so we were able to analyze or make our opinion of that at those young ages and that young mentality. We was able to, you know, we were given these tools and these foundational keys and these gifts from, you know, people, an uncle that was probably drunk, but he talking about his love, you know what I mean? And so then we began to, you know, take these stories or these ideas that we heard, and we began to match them up with the people that we heard them from. And then, you know, these ideas were then not pure. They kind of went through a filter, and we kind of either took these things for truth, or, you know, that's my faith, that's what my mama gave me, or we took it for like, man, nobody believe no talking snake, man. They told us that in the Sunday school when I was 6. So before I get into this, I kind of want us to try to empty our minds and re-look at the information. You know, if we had a murder case on the table, and, you know, they tried this case, but now we have the opportunity to look at this case again. You know, to not take what we heard the old prosecutor say, or not take what the old jury's verdict was, to look at this evidence and this information for what it is. And in life, I say, you know, whatever it is, especially in, you know, things we were given to at young ages or at the origins of being, to re-look at these things and these stories. I'm saying all that to say, when we get into Hollywood, we got to understand our nature. We got to understand deception. We got to understand the image. The Bible say we was all created in the image of God. The world say we was created in the image of monkeys. And before the monkeys, we was little bacteria, which we don't see no evidence of that theory happening today. We don't see the halfway monkey and man. We don't see the monkey / man. If that was true, where's the half monkey man? Where's the mid stages? Where's the man with the tail? It's a whole nother topic. But what happened with the origins was created in God's image, and deception came. We have free will. So with these original origin stories, we had the free will to choose what we want. So that Garden of Eden story, if we don't look at it as this narrative and the snake, if we look at it as God giving us free will, so that tree being in the garden, we were surrounded by everything that we can have. You can touch and have anything you want. Just don't touch that one over there. Imagine your father, your parent, your teacher telling you that, like, surrounding you by plush, by beautiful, by delicious, and just giving you, like, man, you can have all that, just don't touch that one right there. Okay, you know, our curiosity kind of sparks, like, you know, I wonder why, you know, and that, you know. But what happened is, if we look, deception came in, you know, the talking snake, however you want to interpret that, or you know, deception came in. Deception came into where the human's original idea began to be questioned. What the rules and the laws began to be questioned. And because of free will, we have the will and the ability to think on our own. But because of that, you know, things were being questioned, and now the original formula can be changed. So let's give y'all this story. Like I said, you just want to lay a foundation. If you don't know, when we talk about the music industry, Satan, the devil, was in heaven, was the leader of God's worship. He had instruments in his body. It literally says that in the Bible, man. Reread your Bibles, man. Reread it at this stage in your life. Look at these things. The Bible literally says Satan, when he was in heaven, before he was casted out, he was casted out on the earth. Okay. He literally had jewels. Imagine in heaven they walk on gold, just to show how amazing God is. It's just his preference. They walk on gold. The enemy had jewels in his body, right? He had jewels in his body, and he had instruments. Imagine if your lung was a saxophone. The notes, like, you know what I mean? That being, that creation, right? So what he would do is he would go, and because God is, so you can't look in the sun, right? So if you go outside right now, you look in the sun, it's gonna hurt your eyes. So imagine something greater than the sun, a power greater, you can't stand in the presence of God without, if you can't look in the sun, and you can't stand in the presence of God without being completely destroyed, especially in the sin nature. But so what Lucifer at the time was called would do, he would reflect the image of God from these jewels, these crystals in his bodies, these mighty wings, or whatever this cherubim covering angel look like. This, our idea of beauty. I said in a line, the devil gotta be the most beautiful creation. Like, imagine, like, the devil ain't red with horns and snap, there you go. It's probably the most beautiful, alluring thing you've ever seen in your life. Like, imagine the most prettiest human you've seen times a million. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the idea, the embodiment of desire. So what he would do is, with these jewels in his bodies, these crystals, these heavenly jewels, not the jewels that we see on earth, these heavenly jewels, he would reflect the image of God, right, on his body. He would go into God's chambers and he would reflect God's image, right? He has God's image in these jewels in his bodies, like a mirror, right? The image would stay in it. And so then he would go to God's creation, and he would show God's creation the image of God. And he would reflect it all. And so all God's creation, the billions and billions, they would bow to this image of God, right? So the enemy, over time, as he's accepting this God's worship, he realized, man, they worshiping me. And immediately the Bible says, it says he took 2/3 of the angels with him. A third of the angels with him, a third of the angels with him. So he deceived the angels, God's creation that was out in heaven. He deceived them and showed them that I have the power. Look, I have the image of God. I have the power so you could worship me. And they were deceived and tricked, and immediately they were cast from heaven. What a lot of scholars and people haven't dug deep enough or won't even tell you is, they wasn't cast to hell, it was cast here to the earth. And so the earth was void and formless. So that's where we come. We didn't come to an earth, the earth was, no, we came to an earth that had already inhabited creation before a creation, not our human, but it was already things here, and it seems like it was destroyed. So now we were given this place, but already with the understanding that somebody is already here. I had a pastor one time, he was telling me, he was casting out this demon, right? He's casting out this demon, and he's telling these people, he's telling this demon, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, all the stuff that, a pastor's supposed to say. And in this demonic voice, he was saying, the man started manifesting this demon, and the demon was literally telling him, like, do you know who I am? Like, I don't know if that's the voice, but do you know who I am, basically, is what it's like. Yo, dude, you just a human. Like, I'm the demon who caused this century, this war to happen. I'm the one who caused this situation to happen. I'm the demon who caused, you know what I mean? And so he's telling this guy, like, bro, you just a mere human who got a mere 70 to 80 years. I've been here for centuries. I've been here causing destruction and chaos for years. So That's the war that we're up against. So we have this enemy, us as humans, we get here. We have this enemy who's already equipped, who's already has these skills, who already, hates us, So one of the main thing I feel Hollywood's agenda is, number one, I feel is ran by the enemy. I know it. if you look at where we're going, like take a look at where we're going. What are they presenting to us? What are they trying to promote here? If we look at what Hollywood is promoting in their agenda, it's an evil, demonic agenda. And if you look at the leader of the prince of the air, if you look at the Bible say that the enemy is the prince of the air. If you look at what that means, the airways, what's in the air? When you pick up your phone, how do you connect to the person you're calling? The airways. When you downloading something off of your computer, where does the information go to? And it goes through the airways. So if the enemy is the prince and the power of the air, we have to, as people who believe, take over territory like All Access Broadcasting is doing of the airways. We have to take territory back of the airways. So with Hollywood and the evil agenda is literally to control the airways through media. Media is the number, like if you look at, like I said with Kobe Bryant, if you look at what the media is doing, you have to ask yourself certain questions, how, and then realize how powerful this system is. Like if you look at this, the fact that TMZ brought us the video footage of Nipsey Hussle getting killed. How did a paparazzi style media outlet bring us this the video who sent the footage to TMZ? How, if you look at, like, with the recent thing, if you look at, I heard that Kobe Bryant's wife heard the news through TMZ that Kobe Bryant was, it's like, if that's a fact, number one, man, like, you're embarking on territory that don't belong to you. Like, there's no way a grieving wife should find out her husband has died through a news article or a news, broadcast. Terrible way to find out. Nobody there to comfort you. You don't know the facts. You're left. You can't go source and fact check because it's the media. A lot of it's garbage. A lot of what's really going on. People are trying to be first. The media races. People are not trying to give facts. They're not trying to get the story right. They're just trying to be the first one to break it. So whether it's right or not, they're gonna break the story. Even if they only got a little bit of information, they're racing to be the first ones to break this story. So in a polluted world like that, what is the agenda? If you look 50 years back, man, we had rating system, PG, rated G. We had standards and guidelines. But if you kind of look at where we're going to, if remember back in the day, we would watch TV shows and, if the mom and dad are upstairs, they about to kiss, you'll slowly see the camera fade left. You'll never see them, you know what I mean? But nowadays, like, if they doing that, you see their shirt off and, like, you don't know if that's, and if you look at where we're going, like, we're not going in a positive direction. You know what I mean? If you look at where we're going, we're not going and becoming better as a whole, better as a society, better at our jobs. Like, if you look at, we're not becoming better doctors, we're getting better technology. We're not becoming better scientists, we're getting better things to use, But us as a people, we're getting more lazy. We're getting more dependent, whether it's our phones, whether it's, whatever it is, we're getting more dependent. I can't find my way without GPS, you feel me? Which is terrible. Like, I remember my daddy used to pull out this big old map and you know what I mean? So I just want to kind of just give you the foundation of what I feel the evils in Hollywood is, and like I said, it's definitely a targeted agenda. If you look at if me and you were in a gang, right? If we was in a gang, we would have certain signs and symbols that nobody else around us really understand, right? Because we are initiated into a culture, into a situation, into a thing that, this is us, this is what we do. So if I throw up some signs, the person down the street, if you ain't in, you probably have no clue what I just said. But if we in the same gang, you know exactly. I could have just sent a murder, sent a hit, or just sent you $20. Like, you feel me? But because of these codes and symbols, so with everything where people grouping together, we got to look at the signs. There's always an underlying language. There's a general language that everybody speaks, but there's also a sign. Even in kids, I remember the young girls in my school back in high school, they would make gibberish, gotta, or something they would be saying, like, and they understood exactly what they was talking about. But it's like, I'm looking at these girls like, what are y'all, but because they came together and literally conspired and created their own, they're literally saying stuff right in front of you. You have no idea about. So imagine with these commercials and these television shows and these signs and symbols these people are literally throwing up, and we don't even notice them. And if we notice them, we just pass it off as that's just creative, or that's just, no, everything has a meaning. And if you look at the Taco Bell commercials or anything, like, everything is getting darker. Everything is being accepted. Like, if you look at the foundation of the family, is being completely torn down. I know in media, that was one of the main things, one of the main concerns in media. This has to support the family. This has to give, some type of, there was a board that certain content couldn't come out. Now with the beauty of YouTube and things like that, everybody has free range, but now there's no, checks and balance system. So this is part one of the evils of Hollywood. We definitely gonna get deep in it, but it's all about deception, man. What are we paying attention to? What are you being, deceived about? Like I was saying last time, if by wanting to come in Hollywood, well, nowadays we have the tools to do everything we need. We have YouTube. You can learn how to build a Ferrari or bake a cookie in 15 minutes. Like, you feel me? So but when we come in Hollywood, like I said last time, you got to realize what we're doing. We're giving our children over to professionals. These people who got credentials and, all these things. Oh, yeah, they did this, and I was the one who put Tupac on, or whatever it might be. We're literally putting these people above our experience, above our know-how. We're giving our children over because of their status, their credentials, their professionalism. And then in our children's eyes, what we're literally doing, we're saying, hey, I brought you as far as I can bring you, but for you to reach your dreams, for you to become all that God's placed in you, or for you to do the moonwalk at the Super Bowl, or whatever your dreams or interests, for you to paint we're literally telling our children, our seeds, that I can't help you. I give you over to this professional, and everything that this professional has to say. If this professional tells you, listen, for you, and this person casted what's the movie, Grease, let's say, I don't know the person who casted Grease, but just for example, say the person casted Grease, right? And so I take my child to, this is the person who cast Grease. I want you to come do this audition for him. If this person literally give me a list, I want you to do 20 push-ups. I want you to do drink all water with lemonade, and then I want you to find 3 ladybugs, right? We literally would go back to that person with that whole list checked off. I did this, I did it faithful, I cut my family off, just in pursuit of that idea, that success, and because we feel that we're in the presence of somebody who could bring that to a reality for us. So with that, I'm not saying seeking somebody who can help is an evil thing. I'm saying that if you are in an industry full of sick people and you're trusting them to do anything for you, you cannot expect nothing but to become like the company you keep, period. And not even become like the company. You have no choice. If this is how they getting down, if this is what they doing, if this is what they believe in, and you're striving to have anything that's you're gonna get your hands dirty in anything, man. If you know, I know Hollywood. Let me tell you, one of Hollywood's biggest things to do is to get dirt on you, man. Like, I wouldn't, like, people can't trust you without having a secret. You know, if I'm dealing or working with a lead actor, right, and I know he married, but he done went and cheated on his wife, right, and I know that he don't want to come do my next movie, right, and I got them pictures of him getting that lap dance, you know what I mean, and he's saying, nah, man, I'm good, I don't want to do, you know, my threat to expose his secret might allow that man to do almost anything. You feel me? If I was the breadwinner in my family, right, and I went to Hollywood or whatever, and had all these secrets in the closet, right? I did all this stuff that, you know, that they say might be true. And it's just for example, and then I go back to my family. Do you think I would ever tell anybody in my family any of those things I had to do to be on that big screen or in that music video? I would never tell my family. I would almost trick myself to make myself think that I'm doing this for my family. You know what I mean? And it becomes a sick and twisted idealism. Imagine if, you know, like I was saying, imagine if you about to get signed to a record label, right? And you get signed, and for the first 2 years, your first album does amazing, man. Your first album did amazing, man. You did great, man. We about to work on your sophomore album. It's about to go down, right? You done got your new Benz. You done moved your mama out the hood. She in a big old nice house. And then it's like, listen, man, we about to get it started on your next album, but I need you to come in this room with me and handle your business. Now, I'm not saying, but being in that situation, this is what you have to choose from. You have to choose from either saying, okay, to continue this lifestyle I've lived, I will go against my morals. If those are your morals, I'll go against my morals and I won't tell nobody. Or you have to question, like, dang, if I don't do this, that rent for my mama's big old house is gonna continue to be due. If I don't do this movie, I can't keep paying that rent. That Benz shorty been driving, they gonna come get that. You gotta realize that now your face is being known. Now everybody done seen you on that music video or on that movie, and you can't. Your pride ain't gonna let you go fill out the application for the 99-cent store, because everybody gonna come in there. Ain't that you? We taking pictures of you. Who was that? The dude on the Different World? They seen him just working a normal job. Who? Young Jock, like he was driving Uber or something. People sitting there taking video, doing an honest man doing an honest job. And they sitting there taking pictures of him because they seen him on this pedestal and they couldn't have fathomed him doing something normal now. So in that situation, you have to think everything I've worked for will be lost. Or I could just make a decision to do something that I could make myself forget, which is a crazy thing. So that's just a summary. The evils of Hollywood, man. I just want I want you guys to stay tuned. I want you guys to know y'all children are safe. But we at a time now we could write our own script, man. I call it the skipping the line theory, man. If you want to be an actor or actress, and ain't no roles, and especially in our culture, they ain't really writing too many true roles for us. You know, how can you expect somebody who ain't even in? Like, I would be a fool to try to write a film about Spanish culture, and I ain't lived in no Spanish household. You know what I mean? I don't understand how the Spanish women deal with each other when they, you know, I would have to at least go get insight for somebody who knows, like, you know what I mean, somebody who's been there. So like I said, this is All Access Broadcasting. The show is Where the Sidewalk Ends. I'm your host, Gabriel Cannon. This is part one of Hollywood. I'm just giving y'all this overview. If there's some questions or anything, but it gets deep, man. I remember one time we was shooting this music video, and I signed to Def Jam, man. My little brother had a big shirt with Jesus on the back, right? Had Jesus just in rhinestone, not the name, the image, the face. It wasn't really, we don't know what Jesus looked like, but, and he turned around, we opened the video. The videos come down to the Jesus picture on his back. Man, like, well, we're going to show him what we represent in this industry. We got we got the final edit of that video. Every time he spent around, you couldn't even get to the back. Like, never showed the image at all. Like, but yeah, this is where the sidewalk ends, man. So that's that Hollywood, man. It's not even Hollywood. It's a mindset. You could be in Wyoming, but still have these ambitions. It's really the desire for success. How far will you take it? So we're going to definitely continue this. Like I said, we definitely gonna get to the book of the week. The book of the week, I ain't bring my book. So the last one was humility. Humility, man. I definitely was big on humility. So y'all make sure y'all have y'all books. The book of the week. I'm Gabriel Cannon. This is where the sidewalk ends. All Access Broadcasting. Y'all be blessed, man.